All right, Ultimate Hoops Nation. I'm Aaron Wimstead. I'm here with Jason Briggs. This is week 6, this week in rec. Just got done in Bloomington South. Pretty good night of basketball.
Schedule maker did a great job tonight.
Yeah. First game, them lost to the Squires, 64-54, or 54-64. Devin was back. Seemed like the wrist was still bothering him. He shot 2 for 14. Your thoughts on that game?
A couple forces out of him. It's going to take him a little while. I mean, I know he's probably shot around a little bit, but game action is a little different, especially the Squires, who were a tough team. He was a little short on a few of them, so I've never seen so many air balls out of that. Out of him. But he'll get it back. He's a good player. Very surprising start to the game. Them has been. I mean, they have their moments, but they're a much better defensive team than they displayed in the first half when they let Martanzik have probably 4 open threes and 1 that heat check. I'm just gonna shoot it over you. And he went 5 for 5, so it was a rough start to the game. And I mean, look at the scoreboard; they lost by 10. That's a tough hole to dig out of. They won in the second half.
Yep.
They played a lot better. The defense really picked up. One of my questions later will be related to the Squires, but the pressure they were putting on the ball handler really, changed that game and gave them a chance. They weren't shooting well enough to close.
Yep. So now them is they're 2-4.
Mm-hmm.
They have 2 tough games coming up. They have the Shockers, who played the Blue Chips tough tonight.
Yeah, they should have won.
And then they play the Gorillas.
Mm-hmm.
So they have 2 tough games coming up. Probably the best they come out. I'm guessing that they're going to lose the Gorillas.
Mm-hmm.
They come out 3-5. What do you think their chances are to make the playoffs?
I'm preparing Briggsitology for next week, and there are going to be a few teams that fall in that 3-5 to 4-4 range. So they definitely could get voted in based on they had a rough season because they lost one of their best guys, but 5-on-4 over Showtime, 5-on-4 over Lights Out. And if they beat the Shockers is their marquee win. That's not. Shockers are good, as they proved tonight, especially with their additions. But I mean, if they end up finishing at 1-6 or 1-7, 2-6, it's not going to look very good. So they're going to need to beat the Shockers and put on a pretty good performance against Gorillas to get some votes, because there are some people who really look at the 5-on-4 games and. I try to ignore them because, hell, they showed up. It's not their fault. The other teams didn't, but I'm only one guy.
And so on the other end of the spectrum, we have the Squires are 6-0 now, and they too have probably their 2 toughest games coming up against the Rebels and the Shockers.
Yeah.
Where do you see them coming out?
They beat the Rebels to open the season last year and then got really roughed up in the playoffs. So I think they can beat the Shockers just because the styles are similar. I think the Shockers have just been, or the Squires have just been doing it longer, and are a little bit more talented. So I definitely think they're going to get at least 7 wins. But I'd go 7-1 because I think the Rebels' physicality is going to be a little bit too much for them next week.
So we had Rebels played the Gorillas, what we thought would have been a pretty good game, and the Rebels beat them 61-39. I guess they were probably pissed off at the way they lost last week or something, because their defense was tremendous. I think the Gorillas shot like 24% from the field.
The Gorillas are a more talented team, especially with Steve Hart, than the Rebels are. I mean, Monska was gone, so their half-court offense was missing its key trigger man. Is the nice way to put it, I guess. But the physical play had the Gorillas in shambles. They were pissed at the refs. They were pissed at what wasn't being called. They were pissed at the Rebels for doing certain things. It was, even a savvy guy like Steve Hart was kind of taken out of the game a little bit by some of the physicality and the no calls, and it was physical both ways. Mm-hmm. The Rebels are just used to playing that way. Yep. The Gorillas are not. And whatever it is, after the playoffs last season and this performance, it really does look like the Rebels are in their heads. Mm-hmm. And the Gorillas can play so good and so smart against so many teams and then just fold when they play the Rebels. And I know their defense has something to do with it, but with the talent they have, they should be able to dictate the style of play.
Yeah.
And they never do. They never do.
Then we had your Blue Chips versus Shockers. Shockers played a really good game, and like you said earlier, they should have pulled it out. I think they were ahead by, 5 or 6 with a minute?
They got up by 8 with 2 Alex Brown free throws. Then Kevin Mayer hit a 3. I think someone else hit a
Chase had some free throws.
Yeah, Chase hit a free throw. We got within 4, then we got within 5, and then we hit a shot, and they went and with 6, maybe 6.5 seconds left. We're down 3 and gave them 2 free throws, and they missed both. And
Sonny hits a big 3.
Sonny goes, I would say coast to coast, but he stopped just across that half-court line and sends it into OT, and I think the momentum took us from there. My joke to the team was that the very first possession of overtime, Kevin Mayer had a long, slow drive from the three-point line through the lane in for a layup, and I think the air was out of the Shockers balloon at that point, because if Mayer gets 15 seconds that it takes for him to drive from the three-point line of the basket, that's a defensive breakdown, to say the least. But they're a good team. I really like the addition of Mr. Braun, and I really like, they call him Tony, but I'm going to go by the website and call him Anthony Tyson. He's a damn good player, good defender, good distributor. He's just really smart, and he's going to be a player in this league. A good player.
So that's about all worth talking tonight. You ready for your 3 questions?
I am. Let's give a shout out to the Muskies. I know Lakers were Iron 5, but keeping that game close was wonderful. I believe the Thumpers beat Big Smash today.
They did.
Which is nice for them, because the schedule lightens up a little bit, but they need some wins. So Big Smash is in trouble. They probably got to win out to get in that discussion. And then, who won the Crusaders game?
Crusaders did.
Okay.
It was close though, and Showtime had 4 players again. So.
Oh, wonderful! So twice a year. That's good. That sucks too, because they got some good players in that team.
They do. Yep.
2 were drafted in our little draft, so Helmy and I are clearly fans of them as well. All right, so 3 questions. Question number 1. What is the role, these are to Ultimate Hoops, because, they're not just rhetorical of me asking myself and then commenting under an alias later. So if you guys could send some feedback, that'd be great. What is the role of the GM? Does it stop at selecting players? Do you also take over coaching roles, substitutions? And the reason I ask is my own team, the Blue Chips, we kind of control the rotation. So Eric Bond, Kevin Mayer, Kevin Chase, myself, we try to get people going in and out, try to keep people as fresh as possible. Red Devils are the same thing. Yep. Derek Batiste, when we get there, tells everyone who's starting for the Avengers. I think Izzy does the same thing for the Gorillas. Bad Boys 3 tonight, the strategy was they'll ask for a sub when they're tired. So the first 5 guys are out there, and I look, and it's 8 minutes into the game, and there's no action from the bench. And I'm like, why don't you guys sub in? Well, no one's tired. No one wants to come out. So is it that GM's role to install that pattern, to coach his team up? Or is it just the player on the team getting up and saying, you look tired, I'm going in for you? So I just like to know the thoughts on that, because I think the GM and coach, and unless everyone has the same mentality, should be setting that. But again, I'm just one guy, so.
Question number 2.
Question number 2, and this relates to the 6-0 Squires. And by record alone, you could say they are definitely a Gold Cup contender. But without a true ball handler, what do you guys think? Can they make it and win? The ball movement's great, but the second half with Julius Williamson on Adam Nelson or whoever was bringing the ball up, there were steals. It was chaos. There were a lot of turnovers.
Taking the ball out of Nelson's hand. From what I saw, and Cooper Cullen was bringing it up at the end. So.
And so my worry is, and my question for UH Nation is, can that team who lacks a superior ball handler, they've all got guys that can handle, but not against pressure, is what I would say. Can a team that may struggle against the pressure win when you have the Bryant Marmels, the Dustin DuPonts, and a few others out there that are Jim Michael, they want that ball, and they're gonna pick you up. Maybe at half court, maybe they'll pick you up 3/4 court, and they're going to ride you the whole way. So I saw a little crack. I've been really impressed with them, but I saw a little crack in their armor today, and that was that ball handling question. So I'm wondering if anyone else sees the same thing, or if I'm just an idiot and the Squires are as awesome as a record.
Number 3.
Number 3 is National Tourney this weekend.
Exactly.
I would like to say, hey, is Magicians Alliance going to be? I don't care. I don't care. My question is, I'm going to be in Vegas. I am not going to set foot in a Lifetime Fitness. It's not that I hate the tourney or that I wasn't asked to join a team, which I wasn't, by the way. So I'm not playing. It's too late. You've already hurt my feelings. But for all the people out there who are going to watch this, what's the best restaurant in Vegas? It's my 4th anniversary, hanging out with a wife. I think I ate at the Sahara Buffet and some burger place last time, and my wife was not happy about it. So, any recommendations? I know we're cutting it close because I'm leaving in 2 days, or when you watch this, probably 1 day. But any recommendations for restaurants in Vegas? What's the best? Maybe we get a little argument going. What's the best spot?
I have no idea. I've been there once and I ate it all buffets. But I heard the Heart Attack. I heard that place is pretty cool.
Okay.
Where you can get a big burger.
I was told Circus, which might be the dumpiest casino on the Strip, has the best steakhouse.
Really?
And I don't know if someone's just effing with me. That's editing, by the way. I edited myself. That was great.
That's good.
Nice censoring. Or if it actually is that good. So any restaurant availability or recommendations, please send them to me, because I've been an a-hole husband for almost 4 years.
But you're not on the Strip, are you?
No, I'm off the Strip because I'm also old, and when I go to bed, I want to go to bed. So I don't want to hear Dustin DuPont hammered or Clovey trying to dive into the Bellagio fountains. So it's not that I'm cheap, and I am cheap, but I like the quiet.
All right, guys. Well, that's it till next time.
Sorry for rambling.
We'll see you then.